What else are we live on, James? YouTube? All right, guys. If you're watching on Instagram, James has that chat open. He's got the chat open on YouTube and Facebook. And the conversation today is going to be around your success and how you need to study it just as much as you need to study your failures and why it's important. And a lot of times when I talk to a salon owner, stylist, somebody who is in business, at one point in their career, they were doing great. Like things were firing off. Like they were just very successful. And then all of a sudden, something happened. And a lot of times when I ask them about what happened, they say they don't know. Well, I go, what were you doing to be so successful? And they might say Facebook ads, or they might say Google ads, or they might say whatever, posting every day. And then I'm like, well, are you still doing that? And they're like, no. I'm like, fascinating. Why aren't you doing that if that was working? And it's because they went to a class, took a course, and somebody gave them something else to do to grow their business. And they switched directions, and they were trying to do something new. So they stopped doing the thing that was working for them in order to do something new that would maybe give them a better result. And now it's not giving them that better result. And so they spend all their time trying to figure out how to make that new thing work, when in reality, that thing may not even be needed to make their business grow. So I have them realign their focus and then start doing the thing that was working for them 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago. And a lot of people fall into that trap. So many people are like, well, I don't know what's wrong. I'm trying this new thing and it should be better. I was here at my numbers. We were doing $50,000 a month or $100,000 a month. And we're not doing that now. Well, you're also not doing Facebook ads. You're not posting every day. You're also not doing the other thing that got you to that level. So ask yourself, if you're not in a place anymore where you once were, if you reached a certain level of success and you're like, shit, I'm not where I once was. Well, what were you doing when you were at your busiest? Like everything. Like make a list of all the things you did when you're successful. And this is why it's important to dissect your success and have a journal or a diary or something that you use so you can record like the day-to-day. And you can go back to your numbers and you're like, wow, that was a really good month. Let me see in my journal what I was doing. Oh, today I was doing Facebook ads. Here's my hook. Here's my story. Here's my call to action. Let me see how that ad was doing. Oh, this day I started running my Google ads and we started doing a map, like a Google Maps advertisement. It did really well, but for some reason, like your credit card, you got it stolen, so you had to redo your credit card, and now it's not hooked up with Google anymore, and so you can't pay for the ads, so they just stopped running, but you have no idea that, and now everything got shattered, and now you're not making any money. So it's important that you pay attention to all the details of what got you to that level of success, so you can go back and make sure you can either add to it or expand on it. A lot of people are in a position right now, and a lot of people are now still blaming COVID for their situation 4 years later. And if you're one of those people, stop, because it's not affecting your business anymore. If you're allowing it to affect your business still by giving it the power of making it your excuse, you're never going to be able to grow back to the point you were before COVID. And I'm bringing that up because a lot of my conversations revolve around, hey, COVID ruined my business. I opened a salon during COVID. Like I opened a business during COVID. That's how much I didn't let it affect me. So you can make a choice. You can let it affect you, or you can let it empower you, because the obstacle is the way. So once you find out, like, what's the bottleneck in my business? What's the obstacle I'm dealing with? Let that create the way for you. That's why I have the PMA. That's why I have a private membership salon. And that created the way for me. What's the obstacle you're dealing with right now in your success? Is the obstacle not enough clients? Well, then how do you fix that? You fix that with getting more attention on you. You fix that with making better ads. You fix that with whatever you need to do to get more eyeballs on your Instagram, your Facebook, your chit chat, your MySpace, your whatever the hell you're using to advertise. That's how you get more clients in the door. So what's the obstacle? Do you not have stylists? Is that the problem? That's a big obstacle. And a lot of people deal with that. Well, then make that the way. Make the obstacle guide you to how do you attract more stylists into your salon. Create a system. Just like you attract clients with advertising, with the right kind of posting, you could do that with stylists too. And then all of a sudden, you don't have a stylist problem anymore. You have an influx of stylists, so you create like a pipeline. And then you have stylists on deck for when people go on maternity leave or if someone leaves your salon. Or if you have so many stylists because you got so good at attracting stylists, guess what you do? You open another location. But you can't do this if you're stuck behind the chair, struggling mentally on what to do next because you're not managing your energy. You're trying to manage your time, but you have to make sure you dedicate a day to growing the business. And when you have these days dedicated, you could take a look at your success. You could take a look at your failures. You could see what's going on with a clear head, with no distractions, and give it 100% of your focus and 100% of your time. And if you do that, then you're going to have enough momentum on that task to really come to a solution. But what begins to happen is you take a look at what's working or what's not working, and you try and get down to work on your computer, and then all of a sudden a client walks in or something happens with somebody else, and now you have to put out a fire in your salon, and you're not focused on the thing you're trying to focus on. So I urge you to really manage your energy and really focus on the particular task you have at hand, and that's it. I said this, I think, the other day on one of the lives I did. People say they're good at multitasking. So I want you to do this exercise. I want you to time yourself going from A to Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, P, Q, R, X, Y, Z, whatever the alphabet is. Then I want you to do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and all the way up to the number, whatever. How many letters in the alphabet, James? 40 something? 46. Do that. Then I want you to multitask and go A1, 2B, C3, all the way up to Z with the corresponding number, and see how long it takes you, if you can even do it. That's multitasking. How good are you at that? Probably not very good. Probably takes you a lot longer. But if you did this, if you went A through Z first, and then you went 1 through 46 after that, you'd complete both of those tasks faster because you were focused on one objective, and then you switch to the next. So what I want you guys to do is focus on your success. Like, take a minute and go into your past memory of ideas and things that were working for you a couple years ago and ask yourself, are you still doing them? Like, are you still doing the things that got you to the level when you were at your peak of success? And if you are, then maybe you need to pivot and try something new. But if you're not doing the same things, maybe it's time to revisit them and do them again. Because if it stopped working for you and you're still doing it, then it's time to evolve and grow and maybe change direction a little bit. But if you stop doing them and you don't have any results, it's time to start doing them again. So we on Mondays are a shorter session. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click subscribe. If you're on Instagram, you're probably following me anyway. Head to my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe there. I'm gonna have longer form content. But James, do we have questions in the chat on your end?
No. Percy Mama said the focus part is difficult.
So the focus, elaborate more on that, Prissy Mama, on the focus part is difficult. I'll elaborate for you while you're typing your answer in the comments. But the problem with focus, that if you can't focus on something, it's because you don't have clarity on your goal and you don't have clarity on your vision on where you want to go. So if you guys want to learn how to get clarity, DM me the word grow and we'll get in a conversation and I'll help you unpack different ideas and different ways that help me get clarity. But I'm going to give you guys a little conversation piece here. If you're having trouble focusing on something, I want you guys to have an idea of what you should be focusing on. What is your why? What is your purpose? Why are you doing the hair? Why do you have a salon? What is your vision? What are your goals? What is the thing that gets you out of bed every morning? Like, if you don't have something, if you're very vague about your goals, my goal is to add value to 200 million people a year. That's why I post every day. That's a pretty big goal. And when I get there, it's going to go to maybe 2 billion. I don't even know. With a B, yes. And the reason why I post every day, the reason why I do these Q&As is to add value to 200 million people a year. Now I take a look at my big goal and I go back to actions I could take right now. Posting content every day, doing my Q&As on Mondays and Fridays, having an online program like the Level Up Academy. I can add value to everyone now. And I stay focused in my niche because I know the hair industry. I've built salons from scratch. I've taken salons over and made them successful. I know how to run ads for a salon. I know how to build a Shopify store for a salon. I know how to sell retail products. So I'm focused on that. Only when I lose focus is when I lose momentum. So if you don't have an idea of what you want, that's the first step to focusing, getting clarity on what you want. If I were to tell you, Prissy Mama, let's say you live in New Jersey, like where I live, and my friend James over here is going to give you $10 million on Friday at 4 o'clock in a restaurant. You have to meet him there no later than 4 o'clock at Dave's Steakhouse in Manhattan. Now, what's the most crucial piece of information you're going to want to know? And there's 4 Dave Steakhouses just for the conversation we're having right now. Completely legal money. It's $10 million, 4 o'clock on Friday, Dave's Steakhouse. Be there or you don't get the money. What are you going to do? The most important piece of information you're going to want is the address, the target, the desired destination. A lot of people don't have a desired destination. So in order to get the money and get to the Dave Steakhouse by 4 o'clock on Friday, you're going to have to put the address in your navigation. Like if there's 4 locations, you need the right one. So you have to make sure you have the right address of where you're going. Here's the great part about that. When you have that clear destination, as you're driving there, let's say there's an accident. Well, guess what you can do? You can detour around it and you won't get lost. You can go off and get something to eat and then get back on track again. You can navigate around in order to get to your end destination. But if you don't have that destination in mind, how are you going to get there? Are you driving east? Are you driving west? Are you going north? Are you going south? What direction are you heading? Having a clear destination, a clear goal in mind is the only way to get the result. That's it. If not, you're going to be driving around lost and you're going to miss out on that $10 million. So it's so important to have clarity on your goal and your destination. I can't tell you how many people I talk to when I ask them what do they want, they give me a vague answer. Like, oh, I want to make more money. How much more? Here's $1. There you go. You made more money. Satisfied? How much more? When I do my visions every morning, I do my vision statement and my success statement, I have a clear number written down that I read every day. Then I rewrite it in my Google. I have a Google form I sent to myself in my calendar. I rewrite it again. I rewrite it 3 times a day to make sure I'm aligned with the direction that I'm heading. Now, to go back to the map conversation, if you don't look at the map that's guiding you, maybe you're off course. You wouldn't know. So you have to always realign with reading your goals to make sure you're on track with where you want to go. And if you're off center, guess what you can do? You just recenter yourself by refocusing on your end destination. So it's so important that you have clarity first in order to be able to get to that destination. And that's how you focus. You focus by having a main objective, a why, a purpose. That will help give you focus. Hope that answer helps.
So she followed up. She said, multitasking is all I know how to do. And said, yes, I believe clarity is key, but it's like there are too many things to think about.
Because you're not managing your energy. You have to pick the day, time block, right? You can't multitask a bunch of different things at one time. And I bet you when you're most successful, it's when you're laser focused and dialed in. I want you to, Prissy mom, do you have kids? Do you have a baby? I want you, anyone who's a parent out there, I want you to focus on something else while your kid's screaming in the room, crying. You can't focus on anything else because you're screaming, crying. A crying baby takes all your focus away. That's the only thing you focus on, right?
She said no, she's not. She doesn't have
Okay, well, I do. Changing a diaper of a kid when they're a newborn, flipping around everywhere. That's the only thing you're focusing on. You can't type an email, multitask, watch TV, bake some goods. You're not going to be able to do that.
Nick can't. No one can.
So what is you're multitasking. You have all these ideas in your head. Here's why you can't focus, because you're not clear on the main objective. So I'm going to give you an exercise. If you have all these different ideas in your head, if you have an idea, if you have an objective, your why, your purpose, everything, like you're heading towards one direction to get to one destination. What is the one activity you can do right now out of all the different activities you could be doing that will get you closest to that goal, like 80% of the way? That's what you do. So it's called the 1-3-1 rule. What's the one thing that you should be doing? Right? Or what's the one goal? I'm sorry. What's the one goal that you have in mind? The main objective for the day. What is it? Or the main objective at hand for this hour that I'm time blocking? What are the 3 things I could possibly do to get me closer to that one goal? Out of those 3 things, which one will get me 80% of the way, or at least the furthest out of the other 3? You do that. That's what you do. And you time block time in your calendar. You get notifications off. The only thing you should be doing is that one particular task. It's the power of 1. But the problem is you're giving everything too much credit. So I want you to Google, if you're watching this right now, the Eisenhower matrix. It's a big square with 4 quadrants in it. And in those quadrants, you have urgent and important. You have important. Then you have urgent and not important. And then you have not urgent, not important. And the not urgent, not important is stuff you just delete out of your calendar. It's like the stupid meeting you have with your friends or whatever that doesn't really serve you anymore. I don't know. It's just something dumb that you don't need to do. Just delete that out of your calendar. Then you have the urgent but not important. Those are the things you have to delegate to somebody else. Laundry. Urgent but not important. Like if you don't have clothes, you can't wear clothes. So it's kind of urgent that they get done, but not really too important. So you delegate that. Have someone, like if you have a cleaning lady at your house, have her do the laundry. Like find someone to do these things. Delegate these tasks. Like emails, have someone do it. Booking appointments, you can have someone from Upwork do it. Now, things that are important, you have to schedule. Let's use the example of an oil change for your car. It's important, but not urgent because you don't need it yet. But if you don't schedule it, what happens? You don't get it done. And then you drive way past the X amount of miles you need to do in order to change your oil. And then your engine breaks down, your car breaks down. Now you're stuck on the side of the road. And guess what it becomes? Urgent and important. So all the important things in your life, you have to make sure you schedule or they become urgent and important. And the things that are urgent and important should be a minimum. Those are the fires that you have to put out. And as long as you're always scheduling things that are important, the urgent and important things don't really take up too much of your time. Like if you're doing things like putting out fires all day long, paying the bills late, running around like a chicken with his head cut off, that you didn't schedule enough of your stuff. You have to learn how to use your calendar. And you have to learn how to delegate things to other people. Hope that helps. Who else has a question, James?
No questions right now.
Wow, you guys know everything.
Kristen says she's going to do this. I only have one task in front of me.
All right, knock it out. Knock it out the park. Let me know what you think. Guys, if you're watching this and you're struggling with your salon or building a business behind the chair, DM me the word grow. Let's get some clarity on your vision. Let's make sure that you are actually headed in the right direction, because if you're not going to know where you're going. You're not going to have a destination to get to. And what's going to happen is 10 years will go by and you're going to look around like, I hate this job. I hate this career. And I don't want that to happen. Yep.
What if you can't figure out what direction you want to go in? How do you start?
The direction you go in is tied to your goal, your why, your purpose, what's important to you. And I'm going to ask you 3 questions. So for give you guys reference who are just watching, somebody asked, what was the question again, James? How do you not know what direction to go into?
If you don't know what direction you're going in,
that's because you don't have your purpose clearly identified. Like you need a definite purpose, you need a chief aim. And then that you backtrack to where you are now. So if I'm here, if I want to be here and I'm here right now, let's say with money, I want to make 200,000 a year and I'm only making 20, but I know I want to make 200. I have to figure out how to get from here to here, right? That's the question. This is my destination. I stack that with skills. So what does a person who makes 50,000 a year do? Then I do that. Now I'm closer. Now I'm at 50. What's a person who makes 100,000 a year do? I start doing that. What's a person who makes 150? I start doing that. And I get clarity on my path in order to get to 200. But to answer your question a little more directly, because you may not even know what the hell you want, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. What experiences do you want to have in life? What kind of person do you need to become to make those experiences possible? And then number 3, how are you going to help other people make their experiences possible too? And I want you to sit with those questions for a little bit. Like, what do you want to experience? Do you want to work every day, 9 to 5, and be a slave? No? Do you want freedom of your time and schedule? Do you want to experience what that's like, financial freedom? Okay. Well, then list out all the people who have financial freedom. That's an experience that you want. And what do? Success leaves clues. Just do what they're doing. Get the skills that they have. Do you want to maybe have the experience of traveling the world? Well, then find someone who travels the world. What do? Are they a blogger? Are they an influencer? Do they have passive income to allow them the freedom to do that? Do you want to experience what it's like to go to like the Cannes Film Festival? Okay. Well, then research. What can you do to go to Cannes? What time of year is it? How do I get in there? Is there a particular job that you can get that might pay for you to be there to work at Cannes or Cannes, whatever you want to call it? Like, so identify what the experiences you want to have in life are, then figure out who you need to become to make those experiences possible. And then the magic happens when you help other people make their experiences possible too. And if you answer all 3 questions, you will get clarity on where you need to go. Next question, James. Any more Q&As?
No, but we can elaborate on that. What if you can't figure out your purpose
That you go back to experiences then. What do you want to experience in life? You guys, a lot of people are so stuck on purpose. Like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Like, I want to let you guys know, I'm 45 and I don't know what I want to be when I want to grow up. Like, nobody knows. Like, I want to have fun and play and like hang out. Like, I love that, but I know in order to have financial freedom, I have to put the work in. So I found something I love to do. Like, I truly love coaching. Like, I love having the business. I love talking to salon owners. I just love this. But if you don't know what you want to do, right, James, that's your question?
Yeah.
What are you good at? Because if you're good at something, you typically enjoy doing it. Like, whether you dread going to work or not, but if you're the best at it, you enjoy being the best at it, because you wouldn't be the best at it if you really didn't like it. So what are you the best at, better than anyone else in the world? And just do that. Then you would teach other people how to do it at scale, and then you monetize a knowledge business around it, and then you have your freedom to do whatever you want. But you have, like, people have this thing about, I did yoga and now I want to be a yoga instructor, but you're really an accountant. You don't know shit about being a yoga instructor. You have no idea about it. So you take all your money, you invest into a strip mall space, and you open a yoga studio, and you have no idea about marketing. You have no idea about memberships. You might know a little bit about money because you're an accountant. You have no idea about customer service, posting on social media, attracting, building a yoga studio. So what happens? You got 3 clients, you get stressed out, you don't know how to pay the rent, and then your business folds. Even though you love doing yoga, that's your passion. Your career capital, right? Your knowledge, your ability to be an accountant is great. So why don't you just do this? Why don't you interview a bunch of yoga instructors or studios, ask them what the biggest problem is they have around accounting and managing their money. Talk to somebody who's really good at tech. Create an accounting software specifically for yoga studios that you license out the IP for, and then become the niched accounting software for yoga studios specifically. And then you do some kind of trading thing where you create this whole event for yoga people, and you go to the event. Now you're doing yoga every day for life because you license this thing out. Now you're making hundreds of millions of dollars a year or whatever. Even if it's $100,000 a month off the licensing deal, you just got freedom for yourself. Not doing yoga because your business would have failed, but doing the thing that you're good at, which is accounting, and then you segue it into something that you love. So that's how you find the purpose. But you need career capital. Everybody's good at something.
So Iconic Hair writes,
yeah.
So you're saying to do whatever you got to do to make the life that you want. So if this is true, you need to love what you do, or you just have to love the experience you want.
Listen, it's a good question. You have to love it. I love the work. Like, you have to love something. You have to love being great. If you want great things, like if you want to have a great life, you want nice shit. Like, you look at people who drive the Bugatti and the Rolls Royce and whatever. They love money. They love being successful. Like, if you want that, if you want wealth, if you want success, you have to love it. But I'm not saying you have, like, success is different for everybody. Identify what success means to you. Like, is it having 3 kids, coaching soccer, having a beautiful house in the suburbs, not stressing? You could easily do that. But if success for you is having the house in Miami, the house in LA, the house in Naples, Italy, like, then success is different for you. You have to become that person who deserves that. So what is success? What does that mean to you? And then you have to fall in love with it.
So I want
Yeah.
to expand on that question. Iconic Hair wrote.
Yeah.
Before I do that, TCJB40, she writes, "You're the best coach. Thank you for everything that you do."
Oh, you're welcome.
Iconic Hair, she expanded on her question. She said, "I'm great at doing hair, but I hate doing content, and I feel like it's a crucial part of the business. So it makes me not like any of it."
Because you're focused on the content. You like doing hair. Why do you like doing hair? Do you like having a person feel a certain way when they're done with you, in the chair? Like, having them look in the mirror and feel beautiful? Is that what you like? I'm going to wait for that answer. Typically it is, because you're focused on the content and you've got your ego in the way. Get the ego out of the way. It's not about you. It's about the potential people who can come sit in your chair that you could change their life with you doing their hair. So you just strictly focus on this being painful and annoying rather than this being the path or the vessel to get you to get more clients, to make an impact on more people. So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Don't do content like everybody else. Do content that inspires you and makes you feel good about it. There's like, you could do content any way you want. If you don't want to speak in front of it, don't speak in front of it. Have the caption tell your story on Instagram. Write blogs. Blogging's content too. Create a newsletter. Like, there's a million things you could do. Get savvy with it. Do the content that feeds your soul. Because if you're focused on hating content, you're never going to do it. So focus on the clients that come to your chair that love their hair, and focus on delivering that to more people. And the pathway to that is getting more clients in your chair so you can serve more people. So the content is just strictly a vehicle to get more clients into your chair. And if you don't like the way it's being done on social media, then do it a way that inspires you and moves you. How's that?
That was good.
Any more questions?
He said, yep. Harleyville 21. What is the best way to recruit new stylists? Love my new spot. Make sure I can afford it without staff. Now looking for staff and not sure the best way to approach this task.
All right. Here's what I want you to do. Start hosting free classes for stylists in your salon, teaching them the thing that you're the best at. Then they get into your world. Then you have a conversation with them, and then you see who's a good fit for your salon, and then you internally recruit them based off your class. That's what I would do. Or I would start a Facebook page for stylists in your community where you drop value every day for them and you make it interactive. And you can do any kind of group, but Facebook group's the easiest. And then I would use that as actually a place to bring people into your world so you can have a conversation with them and have them work in your salon.
Iconic Hair said she loves making people feel beautiful, and that's a great idea.
Good. All right. I have my one-on-one call coming up soon. So we're going to end this live unless any more questions are in the chat. Guys, if you want to watch the full live, it's going to be on my YouTube channel. We're going to dice this up and do a little bit of segments. If you guys are honestly struggling and you're like, just DM me the word grow. It might be a quick solution. I'll give it to you. If you're going to be part of the program, we'll enroll you in it. We got some very new pricing strategies to make it accessible for a lot of people now into the program. So it's super approachable for everybody. Don't be scared. Guys, you deserve more. You got into this career. I want you to think about when you first started doing hair. And I want you to go back to that feeling again. Like when you were like, I'm going to do hair and change the world. I'm going to make people feel beautiful. And then life got in the way. That annoying boss got in the way. Like things to ruin what you had in store for you for this career. Go back to the beginning again. Go back to that childlike curiosity when you were 18 and you're like, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to do hair for TV. I'm going to do hair for like runway. Go back to that feeling again and then figure out how you can get that emotion and that feeling to drive you every day to come back to your vision and get back to being creative again and get back to loving what you do. Because once you get there and you could go back to that feeling all the time, then you'll be successful. And to all you guys out there who were really successful 5 years ago or 3 years ago, and then you're not now, what were you doing a couple years ago that you stopped doing that created that success? Do that again. All right, guys, every day at 12, tune in. DM me if you guys want to chat more. I will see you tomorrow. Full live going up on YouTube. See you later.